Light can be so many things at once. It can be beautiful and expressive, or it can be dull and repetitive from scene to scene. In this video, I want to show you how to set up just one universal lighting setup for an entire scene, and how to keep your shots looking different and interesting, even when you're lighting everything with the same source. This technique works pretty much anywhere, regardless of location. It's especially useful when you need a simple lighting plan with a motivated light source. So as always, everything starts with the script, then come the locations where the story can take place. And only after that we ask, what kind of lighting setup should we go with? What kind of light will keep the clip looking natural but cinematic and clean? Personally, I think the best lighting setup is the one you fully dial in at the start of the shooting day. I mean, you set everything up, get the angles and intensities right, and then you barely have to touch your key light throughout the whole shoot. And even more importantly, the light should feel understandable to the viewer. It should have a clear source. Like, where is that light coming from? Why is there so much of it? So where do we place this kind of light? Well, the location often tells you everything you need to know about natural source of light. I usually pay attention to windows and any architectural openings that could bring in light. On this rooftop, there were a few sealed off skylights. And these are perfect spots where light could be coming through. So that gave us a motivation to enhance whatever natural top light might be there to make contrast via lighting and shadows. Imagine how weird the shot would look if we lit the scene from the side. What's the motivation? Where's that light supposed to be coming from? But from the top, that makes sense. It's just logical. So that's exactly what we did. We placed our key light overhead. And that gave us freedom to move the camera however we wanted, and have actors walk through the space without breaking the lighting logic. And if this were a different location, I'd do the same thing, you know. Find what the natural light source is and build around it extra light. So we put up just one light source. In our case, it was a 2400B Nanlux with a reflector. It was acting like a high overhead backlight, basically a top-back character's rim. But what if you want variety in your shots? You don't want the whole project to look lit from one single angle the whole time, right? When you're working with just one light source, you can still add variation by changing the positions of your actors within the frame, and that affects how the light hits them and how they interact with the background. In one scene, for example, I planned for a character to walk across the foreground as a silhouette, while another character, a girl on a bike in the background, catches more top light. And since the light is hitting the floor, it also bounces up to create a bit of fill on her. So by simply adjusting where your actors are standing in frame, you can totally shift the lighting dynamics, even with just one source. Okay, we've created a quite universal light scheme. How to make your shots visually different? The first trick is playing with color temperature of key light. Sometimes just switching the temp on your light can make a big difference. In the edit, that warm versus cool contrast adds texture and keeps the look from feeling flat, as long as it fits the tone of your project. I usually avoid changing white balance on the camera during the shoot. It keeps things consistent in post, especially with the skin tones and white balance tweaks. In this case, we logged the camera at 4500 kelvins. For cool lighting, we used about 6500, and for warm, around 2700. So, a 4500 kelvins is a nice middle point that lets you blend both directions. That's why I love bringing bicolor lights to set. They give me the flexibility to tweak warmth and coolness. And here's something else. Light behaves very differently depending on your surfaces. Let's say the walls and floors were made of red brick. Your whole scene would be washed in a super warm, saturated tone. But in this location, it's just concrete, and that acts like a big neutral bounce, kind of like foam board or a reflector. It mixes warm and cool tones and gives you this soft, unpredictable look. Bicolor fixtures are amazing in these situations. They give you control, some options, and subtlety. Also, quick shout out to a headset I've been using on every shoot lately. It's the new Solidcom SE Pro from Hollyland, and it's really awesome. So I've been using their gear for a while now, and with this one you can tell they really listened to what filmmakers actually need. The range is crazy, up to 400 meters, which was perfect for this bunker location, especially with the lights rigged way up high. I gave headsets to the whole crew, and we kept them on the entire shoot, didn't take them off once. And what really impressed me was how much better the battery life is compared to the older versions. That used to be a problem, but now it's solid. Alright, even with a simple lighting approach, when it comes to close-ups and portraits, you do sometimes need to add more light a bit. I don't like bringing a ton of gear to set. And I know a lot of you are the same, but sometimes you've got to fill in those dark areas a little. A strong key light can push contrast really far, like a 4:1 or even 8:1 ratio between key and fill. So if you want to soften that, you need an extra fill source. That's what we did on some of the medium shots. Added a side light just to lift the shadows a bit. But important, that fill light should never overpower your main key. In terms of realism, that side light could just be a bounce or reflected light from some abstract source. The viewer won't question it. It feels natural. But your main top backlight, that's doing all the heavy lifting, is the signature light in the scene, and you don't want anything else competing with it. So that small side fill just brought back some life in the eyes of the characters, softened the contrast, and let's be honest, solved the client's question. Why is it so dark? Well, it's not dark anymore. Check out the link in the description if you want more resources and breakdowns on modern professional cinematography. See you in the next one.